The night my winter stockpile burned, the smell of scorched pine and diesel hit the back of my throat before I even saw the flames. I'd stepped onto the porch to lock up, coffee still warm in my hand, when the sky over my shed pulsed orange like a sick heartbeat. For a moment my brain refused to believe it. That shed wasn't just wood and nails. It was months of work. Firewood stacked and tarped, generator fuel, salt, feed, everything you collect when winter up here doesn't forgive mistakes. I dropped the mug and ran, boots slapping gravel, lungs clawing at the cold air as sparks snapped and popped like laughter. By the time I reached the fence, the shed was a torch. Flames licked the roof, greedy and fast, chewing through the tarp, turning my careful rows into a bonfire. A woman stood across the lane, arms crossed, phone held up, filming. The HOA president. Everyone called her Karen like it was a diagnosis. She didn't flinch when she saw me. She smiled, thin, practiced, and kept recording. Unauthorized structure, she called out over the roar. Fire hazard. We warned you. Warned me. I'd received letters, sure. Notices printed on thick paper with polite threats. My shed sat near the spillway gate on the old reservoir easement, a piece of land that predated the HOA by decades. I had permits older than her Escalade. But Karen never read history. She enforced feelings. And right now, she felt powerful. The fire department came too late to save anything worth saving. They doused what was left, steam hissing into the night. The chief pulled me aside, voice low. Looks like accelerant, he said. We'll write it up. Karen drifted closer, wrapped in a designer coat, eyes shining with the reflected ruin. You should have complied, she said softly, as if offering comfort. This community has standards. Standards. My hands shook as I sifted ash, recognizing a twisted metal handle, a blackened can. Winter wasn't a story anymore. It was a deadline, and she'd just erased my margin. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I learned a long time ago that rage is a gift to people like her. Instead, I breathed in the smoke and let the math click into place. Karen had a blind spot. They all did. They thought the old infrastructure was scenery. A quaint creek. A pretty spillway gate with a warning sign nobody read. They didn't know I grew up here, before the luxury homes, before the golf carts and the manicured lawns. They didn't know my father had worked maintenance on the reservoir, that I'd held the wrench that turned the gate when storms came in sideways and the valley needed mercy. Winter rolled in early. Without my stockpile, I rationed. Neighbors pretended not to notice, or pretended sympathy while forwarding HOA emails about compliance. Karen escalated. Fines stacked up. She had my mailbox stuffed with paper while I split scraps of wet wood and prayed the generator would last. At night, I lay awake listening to the wind comb the trees and imagined water, patient and heavy. Then the rains came. 3 days of it. The creek swelled, chocolate brown and fast, chewing at its banks. I walked down to the spillway gate at dawn on the 4th day, rain slicking my jacket, boots sinking into mud. The gauge read high. Too high. The automated release had failed, an issue I'd reported months ago, and the HOA had tabled to fund a fountain at the entrance. I called the county. Voicemail. I called again. Nothing. Karen's neighborhood sat downstream, a necklace of glass and stone wrapped around the creek like it owned it. I could see the rooftops from the ridge, confident and oblivious. I did everything by the book. I logged the readings. I recorded the calls. I took photos of the gauge in the backed-up culvert choked with debris the HOA had refused to clear because it ruined the aesthetic. I sent one last email marked urgent. Then I unlocked the gate. The spillway didn't roar. It sighed at first, a deep exhale, as the water found its path. I turned the wheel slowly, the way my father taught me, feeling the resistance ease. The creek answered with a surge, shouldering its way free, spreading into channels it remembered from before the lawns. I stood there soaked and steady, not smiling, not shaking. This wasn't revenge. This was release. The first call came an hour later. Then 10 more. The HOA group chat lit up like a flare. Basements flooding. What's happening? Who opened the gate? Karen's number flashed on my phone. I let it ring. By afternoon, the creek had taken back the low ground. Water slid into garages, lapped at marble steps, filled the shallow bowls of landscaping with muddy purpose. Sirens wailed. News vans rolled. Karen appeared on camera, mascara streaking, shouting about sabotage, about criminal acts. The reporter turned the microphone toward the spillway sign, bright and legible, warning of controlled releases during high water. The county finally called me back. I sent them everything. Permits, logs, photos, the unanswered emails, a copy of the fire report noting accelerant. Silence stretched on the line. Then a sigh. You did the right thing, the engineer said. If that gate hadn't been opened, the pressure could have taken the embankment. The meeting was packed that night. Residents soaked and furious. Karen tried to speak. Someone held up a phone playing her video from the night of the fire, her voice crisp, her smile cruel. Murmurs turned to shouts. The board's lawyer whispered urgently. A vote was called. Emergency powers suspended. Karen's authority evaporated like steam off hot stone. They never charged her for the fire. They didn't need to. The civil suits did their work quietly. The HOA's insurance balked at paying out after investigators found the maintenance reports buried and ignored. Fines reversed. Liens lifted. The fountain project canceled. The county took over the spillway maintenance, and they hired me on, part-time, paid an official, keys on a ring that clinked like justice when I walked. Winter still came. Friends helped me restock. Wood appeared on my porch. Fuel in cans. One neighbor, eyes down, apologized. I nodded. Forgiveness isn't loud. On a clear morning after the thaw, I walked the creek. The banks were scoured clean, honest again. The luxury home stood repaired and elevated, sandbags stacked like lessons learned. Karen's house was quiet. For sale sign staked into soggy ground. I knelt by the water and let it run through my fingers, cold and alive. Karma doesn't scream. It opens a gate and lets the truth flow where it always wanted to go.